morning.
Oh, did they go to Miami already?
Yeah.
Well done.
Good job. I told you we saw that you guys released Jakob Johnson. I guess what was the thought process behind that? Anything you can say about that?
Yeah, obviously Jakob is very important to our team. The energy and the tempo and everything he's done. The way the league works. It's day in, day out. Things change, things come up. You gotta make decisions. It's tough roster decisions, but we'll be fine there. And then hopefully something works out in the near future to get him back.
I know Amik Robinson practiced yesterday in a limited capacity. Is there any optimism about his status this week?
Well, we're hoping so. We're about to have practice here in a second. We just had walkthrough meetings, get him out there to see how he feels. If he can go through today, then obviously we'll play him as a good football player.
Is that the same for Colton Miller as well?
Yep, he'll do the same thing. Colton went out there and did pretty good. We'll see if we have another good day and we get back to backs and we got our guy back.
Coach, it seemed like over the last few weeks, Malcolm Kuntz has been kind of taking that next step. Can you talk about how good your defense can be if he does take that leap?
Yeah, I mean, really critical to the defense and to Max Crosby, right? And someone on the other side that can, make some plays. And you saw that last week. But he's a very dynamic, explosive player who, I think we figured out as a staff too what he does well. Not trying to put him in the pigeonhole, but here's a guy that can really turn a corner and bend and great with his hands and can finish around the quarterback. So hopefully last week was just a little snippet of what's going to come forward.
And Tony, you've been here, for a couple of years now. Guys like Nate Hobbs, Trayvon Merritt, and Divine Diablo, who made their transition to the new defense last year, and maybe it didn't go well all the time. But the patience with them, and now they're turning it around. What does that kind of say about them? And maybe the difficulty sometimes in transitioning from a new defense from one defense to a new defense.
And then also those guys played as young players, right? All those rookies either started or played in multiple games, and then year two, I think they're all starters, right? But what you're seeing is just the physical development, and not even that, just the mental development as far as the game slowing down for him. I think I'll start with Diablo. Transition from safety to linebacker. He looks like a linebacker. He plays like a linebacker. He moves like a linebacker. He talks like a linebacker. I think with Trayvon, the ball hawking skills that we saw in college and everybody in the country saw, now it's coming to fruition for us as well. He's comfortable, tough guy playing through injuries as well. And then Nate Hobbs, he's different. He's different. You can put him in the slot. You can put him outside. You can do a lot of things with Nate. He's a great blitzer, great tackler, very physical football player. That's a good nucleus to have there. You keep adding guys like Max and Robert Spillane with a mixture of some vets. It gives us a good opportunity to be a good defense going forward.
Speaking of Nate, we were in the locker room yesterday, and I was asking him about the challenge of taking on Miami with their speed. And we talked about them having track speed, and he said they're a football team. They're just other players, right? Is that the mindset and approach that you want those players to have? That it's just another team. They dress the same way we do.
Yeah, different jersey colors, different location, different scenery, but they do put their pants laid one leg at a time, just like us. They strap their helmets up just like us. And when we get there on Sunday, they got to play football just like us, and we'll be fine, just like us.
So going back to Amik, something he's talked about is kind of his career journey. He was a very confident player in high school and college, and then got to the NFL and realized it was sort of a different, level of talent that he was going up against. But he's sort of worked his way back up, and now he's coming into, I think, playing the best ball in his career. What have you seen from him just in your 2 years being around him in terms of his growth as a player?
First of all, extremely talented when the ball's in the air. I think we've seen now 2 plays this season where he just goes up and he's floating in the air, high pointing the ball. Probably one of the more physical DBs as well. You always see him punching the ball, coming up there making tackles. I don't want to call it the little man complex, but he walks around like he's 6'2", 220 sometimes, and he's very fearless. He's a smart football player. He's confident, and I'm glad he's finally having success on the field, because that's what we see in practice. And then that's how you keep building on it. And obviously, he had a little, got nicked up last week. We saw what happened, but to his credit, what's he doing? He's fighting to get back out there, and that's what kind of person he is.
How much does Colton Miller make that offensive line better, and how important will it be if you can't get him back for that game against the Dolphins, against the front seven they have and the secondary they have?
Right. Obviously, since I've been here and even watching Colton when he was in college, he's a guy that doesn't miss practice, doesn't miss plays, doesn't miss games. So it's very critical. He's a nucleus. He's a captain. He's a leader. He's one of the best left tackles in football, in my opinion. Obviously, we have him. We're a better team. If we don't, next man up mentality. But you can just see the way he's working this week, that he wants to be out there. That first game against the Giants, the way he played was like, wow. You know, we get that every week from him, and then that carries over to the rest of the offensive linemen. We're a good group up front.
There's talk about maybe looking into the hip roll tackle. As a former linebacker and somebody that's transitioned from a lot of different roles and a lot of different ways that you have to the technique of tackling. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's tough. It's no different when I played. You know, the Roy Williams had the horse collar tackle, and that got banned. And this is the same thing. You saw the injury last night. This happened to us as well. You know, in old school or new school, it's right school. You know, I'm always about facing the guy up. You know, put yourself in the best position to face a football player up. You know, when you jump on the side of him, we really don't teach that. You know, we try to teach, get our head behind the shoulder, same foot, same shoulder. And that's what we work on every day. I think those are one of the situations that's tough because defenders, most times you're chasing, you're coming from awkward positions. And I think that is something, you know, the league, the owners, everybody's going to talk about this all season because when you see good football players like that go down, that's not what we want.
When you were playing, did you need or did you want some kind of like speech before the game to get you to come out with your hair on fire? And is that a kind of approach that you take with your team as well?
No, I never minded. You know, maybe obviously I played with Strahan and some Bruce Smith and Arrington, Jesse Armstead. That's some guys that can really talk and knew how to talk and get you going, prime as well. But I was pretty much self-motivated, but it was always good to see your leaders, you know, your best football players, your captains, you know, the guys in the trenches talk. That set the tone a little different, you know. We have that here. I mean, it's amazing the amount of guys that speak up and talk to the team. And the things that they say, you know, AP says it my way. Tate says it his way. Josh Jacobs says it his way. You know, Spiel and Max. So for us to have that chemistry and also that ability to speak to one another and speak freely and to demand out of each other and demand from yourself and showcase that's huge. That's accountability.
Good.
All right,
All right,
Coach.
Thank you.